Good afternoon and welcome to Alti TV's coverage of Tom's Tourney. We're at finals day and in the open division in the grand finale, Brussels Mooncatchers taking on BFD Bologna Flying Discs La Fotta. I'm Stefan Rapazzo alongside Benji Reese to bring the action. Benji, what an amazing Toms we've had, and we've got a sloppy final set in front of us with this weather.
Is it ideal ultimate conditions? No, let's not pretend that it is. But does that make it more entertaining in a way? I think it does. It adds a nice element of variance to proceedings. And maybe these two sides were always destined to meet in the finals, because in 2 of the last 3 years, this has been the final matchup, and they've split those so far. BFD La Fotta have got one. Mooncatchers have got one. Who's going to get another?
That is what we're going to decide in the next 60-plus minutes. Let us know in the chats what you think. Welcome to all you viewers. Be sure to engage throughout the game. But Benji, a bit of a clash of styles here for sure. The one-time gunslinging Mooncatchers have settled things significantly. Have a look at that roster, riddled with talent from the externals to the locals, just dripping. And this is a team ready to hit the ground at WCC and then into UCF. The one name that tends to always pop off a Mooncatchers roster is that number 27 now, Don Desmarais. It's his 25th birthday today, Benji. He is having a good time here for his birthday, ready to rock and roll. Big smiles on Don Desmarais, but what can you say about Don that's not been said? He's got the best chop step in the business. His throws are 5-star, and he has the mental fortitude to stay in it and keep his team in it. He's a great leader.
The reigning European and North American player of the year, Don Desmarais. There's a stacked BFD La Fotta roster, and for my money, I think they've looked the best on the grass so far this weekend. They have been locked in right from minute 1. They've got dynamic backfield, they've got athleticism downfield, and they're having players who are less household names really step up into starring roles. Josh Poltock is one of those. Came through the other Bologna programs, Alligators Massey from the mixed division, and then playing a little bit with One Tribe, and now he's made the step up to La Fotta, and he does not look out of place at all. He will drive them with his throws, with his craft, with his guile.
We'll have these teams teeing off, and I think a big focus on the coaching as well. You have Nasser Mbe Vogel and Davide Mori running the show for the Italians, and on the other side, Pierre-Alain Delamine Dubex rolling with Mikey Lunn to try and keep the Brussels troops on the right page. Moon wearing their traditional, Moon wearing their recreational green t-shirts, spray painted and sleeves ripped.
It's like we're watching full college ultimate.
Yeah, I think Soph and Don have been spending too much time in the U.S., and this is the result of that. But we are just about underway here. Time has commenced. The sidelines have dispersed to new areas. There's a lot of people trying to take cover. And here is the first pull by Tal Ostry. Onslen settles underneath. And in their own end zone they go. Yonkers to Desmarais. Desmarais opens the arm. Onslen has steps on Cantu. And a big huck gets things going for the Mooncatchers. One hold, they're up a single.
Has it really been 4 seasons since Ansalam was on Mooncatchers? Because it feels like he never left. He and Desmarais have got that chemistry, and Ansalam's showing that you can't just pigeonhole him as a backfield threat, because he can open the legs and stretch it downfield. Dmitriy stands and delivers a big pivot out, keeps that balance, it really leaps out of his hand, and Onsalan in the gloves to combat the weather, streaks it out for the score. A beautiful huck driven right down the centre of the fairway.
Make sure you let us know in the chats who you're supporting. Hit that like button. And of course, be a subscriber of Alti TV. Here on YouTube, live and free from Tom's. Mancinelli and Poltok, the diminutive duo, kick things off, and Poltok tries of his own. Looking for Tognetti, he gets a touch. But there were too many defenders in the area, but Pingu will have a chat with Abeltinch about the potential contact.
This might be a foul. I don't think it was a great decision to throw it. I mean, Tognetti does not look out of place on the O-line, and there probably is contact on the back from Abeltinch, and that gets them out. Not the best decision.
It's accepted, and then Tognetti throws errant, and Van der Oost takes it away. That is officially the first turn of the game. Mueller claps going to ground, sends the deep ball, looking for Betrancourt, who goes up to get it. Louis Betrancourt puts the backhand around. Victor Oczynski underneath it, and Mooncatchers break on the second point of the game, and they're up 2-0.
Having been given the second chance, Tognetti throws it right into Van der Oost. They look to stretch it deep. I remember when Betrancourt was greener than these Mooncatchers t-shirts. Just a rookie still finding his feet in the game, coming over from football. And now he's a certified D-line stud.
Yeah, going up and getting it, and also delivering the assist. A shapely backhand. Betrancourt has well and truly arrived, hasn't he, Benj?
He really has. I think that the fiery side of his game has been becalmed a little bit, and they've been able to get him to lock in and really identify his game, work out what's he good at, what's he weak at, how can he develop, and that's why he keeps getting the call in big spots, and while he keeps coming up with the big plays.
Big plays are what the Italians are going to need. Playing behind by 2, they have been undefeated throughout this tournament and have been in phenomenal form. This could well be the first time they're playing from behind at all. Mancinelli as Bologna navigate out of their own end zone. Laffi around to Venturoli, and then in the middle for Mate. Mate takes Laffi, he's open. And around Mancinelli. Poltok. And Laffi charges down the disc, fakes the big in the middle. Rossi. Rossi to Venturoli, around the defender. Laffi, Rossi in for their first goal. They get a hold, and it's 1-2.
Arturo Laffi showing he's a master of playing on the edge. The edge he puts on his throws, that is. Using those arcing outside ins. First with the backhand to hit those spaces on this near side. Throwing it flat through the middle. And then maybe somewhat appropriately, given the delicious dinner we had last night, a little bit of inside out on the barbecue backhand for Seba Rossi to put La Fotta on the board. How good was the barbecue last night, by the way? Always a highlight of Tom's Tourney for me.
Yeah, it was a good old time. A great party as well. The DJ played great music.
Were you there, Steph?
Yeah, I was there. I mean, no after party, but the official Tom's party, of course I was there, Benji. You know that well. And we got to taste some of the delicious libations that they put on offer year after year. The lifeline of Bruges, the Brugesot. And the send of the pull. And offside called. So, Mooncatchers sending some scouts down to the other line. I think Arthur Feller was watching and called the offside.
I did suspect that they may be watching. That offensive core for Fotta, the 10 or so players they rotate through the O-line, just having a little huddle on the near side in front of us with Coach Nasser and Bayvogel.
Yonkers, that's ref who sends it down, is clear, and that's as good as gold. Don Desmarais with another goal, and the Mooncatchers are up 3-1 in the early quarters of the game.
Feeling it's his birthday because a lovely present delivered down that far sideline. The blade arcs its way back in bounds. There's no doubt that a healthy and fully firing Ref Yonkers is still among the continent's best. But it's been, I think, probably a lengthier injury recovery than he and many others would have anticipated. I think people take for granted now, you get injured, you work at it, you come back 9 months later. It's not that easy.
No.
It's never that easy. And it's not through lack of trying. But it's taken Ref a little bit of while to get up there, and I still think he certainly has gears he can go into. But he's so dynamic, he's got the length, he can stretch the field. He's excellent.
And there's the pull by Abeltinch. And the Italian handle unit. Laffy and Poltak start off. Venturoli slides into that one. And Fabio Coppi uses the width. Poltak low hits Tognetti, and he goes right to Venturoli. I'm not sure if that was Poltak's intended target.
I am sure it wasn't.
Laffy finds Santucci in the middle, and he finds the seam for Giacomo Rossi. And the Italians hold once more, 2-3 the score.
I'm sure if Poltak was trying to hit Tognetti in there, he wouldn't have fired it quite so hard because he nearly decapitated him. It was thrown with such force. But they adjusted well. They continue to play in rhythm. And as they are wont to do, they don't want to get into high stall counts. They want to get it and give it and keep moving. And Giacomo Rossi, we've talked a lot about the young handling core, the Mancinelli and Poltak kind of dynamic, diminutive dynamos in the backfield. But Giacomo Rossi has quickly become their main field stretcher.
Yeah, he's such a great target. They've got so many options to go upfield, but it seems like an O-line full of hybrids after those handlers. But I see, as hybrids go, Rosie, as you say, is the most likely to be the end zone Malone. Talosri set to pull. That pull is not going to stay in bounds, just out. And the Mooncatchers will use the brick mark.
You say just out. I think he's certainly got room for improvement. And he will know that.
I mean, out is out.
Out is out, exactly. But that's someone being caught who is, 5 meters beyond the far sideline, of course, on the spectator line. And that's quite a large miss, in my opinion.
I'm with you, Bench. Ref Yonkers gets around to Barsazi. He leads Desmarais, but the throw was too far in front. Romano to Novak. Once again, Romano now sold me. Romano finds Sarako, and a little bit of a bump on the mark between Bontemps and Sarako.
Davide was scribbling furiously in his notebook in front of us.
We did speak with Davide last night, and he thinks that he knows the soft spots and where the turns might come from on the Mooncatcher roster, and gave a wink after that last turnover. He knows Barzazzi well. Romano gets tripped up there and spits out the disc.
Yeah, looked like Ben Yonkers quickly accepted the foul. He loses it when he lands, but obviously if he doesn't get clipped up, then he's got a much smoother path to it and doesn't hit the ground anywhere near as hard.
Back in the hands of Romano. He shovels to Osri with the offhand. Bid came from Barzazzi, but late. Romano testing with some backhand fakes, then shovels underneath for Sadako, back to Romano. They're happy to trade, float one up, and that slips out of the hand in the throwing motion, but the foul called.
And quickly accepted.
Sadako to Novak. High disc taken by Ostri. Tal goes back, Romano, and then Laffy. Touch on that second grab. Foul is being called. Ostri had one chance. It spat out on the second chance. Of course, he would be talking the foul on the first look. Let's have another look here, Benji.
Unless there's a little bit of contact before the bid, it looked fairly clean to me.
It did to me as well on that replay.
Make your own minds up at home. I'm sure you won't be shy of an opinion.
Here's one more. Potentially the left hand on the back before, but that is a light amount of contact.
I would like to see this retracted, I think.
I feel the same way.
Gaelan Salam proffering an opinion. Somewhat unusually. Allegedly. Want to give a shout out on this near side to Eduardo Trombetti and Pierre Enro, who came over, had a look at it, had a discussion, and Trombetti gave the advice to his teammate to retract the foul call.
Love that spirit. Dan Desmarais. Yonkers. Desmarais and ref Yonkers, and now Don again. Inside, Ponton. Straight back to Desmarais, and they're missing a defender there. They're caught up now. Benji Yonkers leads for Desmarais, and wow! How did he float like that? That is a dangerous throw. Benji Yonkers should not be rewarded for that, but he did throw to Don Desmarais, so he can be rewarded for choosing the right target. Unbelievable.
He just stayed up for so long. When he first rose, I thought he's mistimed it. He's got it wrong, but he just stays up there. He seems to defy gravity. A thumb in the eye of Isaac Newton. Have a look at it again from the low angle. There was the earlier layout attempt for Dan Desmarais that didn't come up his way. He beats the ground in frustration, but they were able to get it back through the brilliance of Barzazzi, of course. He must, have a little bit extra on the line in this game, you feel. Of course, formerly of La Fotta. And here's what we're all talking about. The elevator flick fading away from Desmarais, and he just keeps up there.
Behind his head. He puts his hand behind his head and hooks the thumb underneath. That's unbelievable.
He's an absolute phenomenon.
Laffy. Up line to Poltog. Open shot was there. They didn't take it. Mancinelli. Venturoli comes charging back to the disc. Rossi goes for the deep and no throw this time either. Poltog around to Arturo Laffi. And the poach cuts off Rossi's cut. That now Rossi's gone deep. Chopo, the target. Santucci is there just over the hand of the extended body of Cedric Feller.
Just the casual one-handed snag there for Chopo. Keeping spirits high. I mean, that's how fine the margins are because he was so close to getting a more decisive touch on it. But he can only bat it slightly, all the Mac line practice. For Chopo coming in, as his social media handles would suggest, clutch.
Old Chopo, clutch, Santucci, shy of the cameras.
Are we talking about the same Chopo?
He's not shy of the cameras. Smile to the camera, Chopo. There he is. He's right in front of us. Look at him enjoy. Refreshing gulps to keep himself hydrated.
Look, I don't think you need to take on any more water in this weather.
Wow. Consumption is a different story.
Just look to the heavens and open your mouth, you'll be fine.
Has it, like, settled a little bit, the downpour?
It's definitely not as heavy as it was, but it is still kind of
coming down.
A steady rain, if not a heavy one.
So 4-3, there's one break only still in the game. And the Mooncatchers started on 0. Ref Yonkers. To Onslen. Sadako getting the démarré job here. And Delas. Floated to Yonkers. Solmi. Solmi to Benji Yonkers. Yonkers floats, it's high, and Don waits it out perfectly. Ref Yonkers wants the hammer, points to it. Solmi breaks up the party, and a break chance for BFD.
I mean, the hammer was a little underthrown, but I think if Ben Yonkers hadn't been very clear about where he was going to throw it, it would have been harder for Solmi to block.
That's right, that was Ref with that hammer, but you're absolutely right, he telegraphed it. Sadako comes under, Ostri to Comirato. Alisi. Oh, and a bid. Bontemps gets up, hearing the foul. He drops his head back to look to the skies for consultation.
It's hard to tell for me from there.
That angle was tough. They were much closer together, I'll say, than the call prior, for comparison's sake, between Barsazi and Ostri. Here, we might get another look. Yeah, I'm not sure we got the right shot to be able to help create an opinion on that one.
Solmi's coming off the field on an injury sub. Seba Rossi will replace him, while Andrew Deles will make way for Tom Zabeltinch for Moon. It's going to be contested and sent back.
Alisi to Trombetti. And he fires to Sebarossi, who catches strong with both hands. Cantu into the midst of Trombetti. Trombetti turns and hits Ostri. And back to Comirato. He tests the around, it's not there, goes upfield with the forehand. Rossi leads Comirato. Will he get there? Down is being called. That was very close. We were looking from behind. I'm not sure what kind of a shot we'll get, but we'll get something soon.
Yeah, from where we're sat, I got no look at it because he was right in front. We'll see if we get a better view on the replay.
You can't tell from this shot. The body's in between the disc and the grass. I think that's very close. I mean, these are the ones where when it's a backyard game, you'd say, yeah, you give it because it was a layout.
Cool. It looked cool. Rule of cool. Sending it back, sometimes it feels unsatisfying, but I get it. I think that makes sense to me. It was not conclusive either way.
Into play, Rossi to Comirato. Trombetti. Fires hard, and that is not on target. Sarako with no chance. And Brussels pick up again. Yonkers had space, faked the big backhand, but put it away and threw to his brother in the shorter space. Crosses the field, Desmarais. Having a chat with Rossi on the mark while he's still working out what throw he's going to take. Barsazi pops it into Ancelin, and Mooncatchers get their hold.
It is being so hard fought that even the clean possessions, you can tell that there's defenders right there the whole time. Mooncatchers thought they'd got the disc back on a couple of occasions. There was the contested foul where Bontemps thought he'd picked Comirato's pocket. There was the potential up-down call. In the end, they get it when Trombetti fires too hard and too inside, trying to find Sarako. When they do get the second attempt, Mooncatchers don't miss. Ancelin with his second goal of the game.
Pierre-Alain Delamine, Dubex. PA for short. The Mooncatchers bench boss, number 1.
The Moon mastermind, I think, at this point. He's been huge in helping them. I was going to say take the next step. Leap multiple steps up, to be honest.
Mancinelli and Laffy initiate the offense. Coppi and the man known as Pingu, Tognetti, goes right back through to Coppi and Venturoli. They find themselves into the attacking half. Santucci, Tognetti. Tognetti around Laffy, 5 meters away in the corner, and that hits Giacomo Rossi for the goal. And that'll make it 5-4 rather, back to a 1-point difference.
When you've had a slightly longer point for your D-line, even if they don't get the break, the thing you want to do is you want to be able to get a nice, quick, clean hold and be able to get your opponent's O-line back out there, still with that little bit of fatigue and lactic acid in the legs. Even if it doesn't pay dividends early, you feel like eventually it pays off. It's like an NFL team, you know, leaning heavily on the run early because it wears down the defensive front, it wears down the linebackers, and it gives you space for the play action.
Exactly that, Benji. Great analogy for our NFL fans around, multi-sport watchers. Some great basketball on lately with the playoffs, hockey playoffs too.
Oh no, they've started the debate in YouTube chat.
Uh-oh, what is it? Oh, no, not this.
The forbidden
not
debate.
Now.
Which way do the clocks go?
And the poll is, should I say it again? Just out, Benji. Same result as way out? Yeah.
An inch is a mile as long as it's not in the field of play.
Benji Yonkers from the brick mark. Leads Don. He goes all the way around the mark of Romano for the backhand leader to Barsazi and gets it back again. He's all alone in his own backfield, and there's a pick upfield.
Quite isolated at the moment.
Barsazi to the far sideline. He leads up the line looking for Anslin, and he overcooks it. And I get another look from Davide Mori.
For all of Barsazi's qualities, he often does give you one a game at least.
Zani to Laffy. Alberto Laffy fires for Ostri. He saw an option for a big and then takes a scuba that's off target. Well taken by Laffy with Desmarais in the area. Novak goes through goal line. Zani back in the end zone. That is Bavia, and that is a breakback.
And we are back on serve. It felt like while we just traded since that early Mooncatchers break, Fotta were maybe having the better of things in recent proceedings. They'd had 2 clean holds. Mooncatchers turning over on both of their previous offensive points. They did so again here. This time, at the 3rd time of asking, they're finally able to capitalize on it. And it took a little bit of creativity with disc in hand. Murray flashing up to poach. The stylish snag on the scuba from Laffy. And then outside the end zone, Ricardo Zani sees the space and flicks out this blade for Bavia for the score. 5-5. This is as tight as you like, Steph. It's what you want to see in a final.
This is exactly what you want to see in a final. All the stars are out shining. Sidelines are boisterous. The Zot de Bruges will be flowing onto these sidelines soon enough, if not already. And everything for the result hanging in the balance.
I think the sun's even trying to come out.
Working hard. Anslin goes to Benji Yonkers. Yonkers to Barsazi. He zipped it looking for Desmarais. And he's hit a perler with that one for the goal. A rocket from Barsazi.
Barsazi just about able to drop that one in for Desmarais. We saw him misfire last time round, but this time his aim is true. And obviously he's still got the confidence of his teammates, of his coaching staff, to open it up when he needs to. And he dropped it in there, 7:30. So the hooter goes just before the point scored. If Fotta can hold, we'll have ourselves a tasty little Galaxy point here, Steph.
Ooh, I like those. Well, while we're waiting to find out if we get Galaxy point or if Moon can get away with half, it's another good time to remind you to hit that like button. So easy to do. So many of us able to jump into this YouTube channel and watch Elite European Ultimate here for free. It's very easy to give back with a simple click of the button. Hit that like and do us all a favor. Mancinelli. Him and Poltok and Copy in the backfield. Venturoli with a bit on the hip from Abeltinch. Mate looks around, sees he's got space, still finds Mancinelli and Betrancourt a bit physical jumping into that space.
Yeah, and I think he knew he got it wrong as well.
Mancinelli, Poltok up line, he gets. Now he leads for goal. Ventu not quite in though, on the doorstep. Venturoli back to Tognetti. Pingu goes back for Sebarossi. Rossi to Poltok. And the Italians recycle and try and find a new way in. Mancinelli and Rossi exchange. High for Tognetti. And Pingu assesses high, but Poltok bobbles and drops, and the Mooncatchers will get a break chance.
On a dry day, maybe that sticks, but that day is not today.
Ouch. Deep shot, Muller, he's got it, and has Betrancourt to support. 2 on 3, will they have a catch-up? Arno van der Oost is there. Now Appleton's assignments are back on, and Mooncatchers looking at their red zone offense very quickly after denying it the other end. Van der Oost sells both up line. Muller looks back, then upfield again, Bontemps. Sof goes back, Desmarais. Big around, wristy throw, and then that is gonna get in. And Mathieu Muller and Moon break right back for the Mooncatchers.
I think a really underrated aspect of Moon's success is their excellent line management. A lot of sides would maybe keep players back to win a potential Galaxy point situation. But when you've got players like Desmarais, like Bontemps, who are both so comfortable going both ways, happy to bear a heavy workload, Mooncatchers aren't going to settle for that. They are happy to load up lines in these situations and sense those moments and just give those stars the opportunity to make plays. Bontemps and Desmarais cross over to the D-line. Mooncatchers get the break, and they go into half with a 7-5 lead.
Seven, 5. The Mooncatchers take half over La Fotta. 2 breaks to 1. 1 early one and 1 to close out the half. They are looking sharp out there, letting their top players cook. La Fotta not too shabby either. They're playing from behind now, but still a fast-moving, tidy operation. Can they generate the breaks required to put themselves ahead of the Mooncatchers before this one's over? They'll need to be a +2 in the breaks department from here on out if they're to do that. Mancinelli. Poltok takes the wide open Laffy. Laffy fires and takes Venturoli. Oh, that just gets through the hand of Abeltinch and then Giacomo Rossi. Oh, and Rossi just gets caught looking to the next throw before that catch was finished and bobbles to the ground.
I've been thinking this week, and I don't know if there's a more emphatic catcher of the disc than Rossi. He always slams his hands around it, but that time they were not aligned.
Oczynski and Poltok putting on the brakes together, and Oczynski gives a smile like, you know you're all over me there. And Poltok very happy to concede that yes, he was. No foul called, just play on. And Santucci almost with a chance there, but Peterkin keeps the disc and goes back to Oczynski. Van der Oost and Shittikat gets that arm outstretched in front of Rosie. A battle here between Van der Oost and Santucci. He does get the up line. Comes back around for Abeltinch, and bodies flying and slipping and sliding. Abeltinch takes the around for Oczynski. Oczynski goes the offhand backhand up the line, and then Abeltinch finds Shittikata, and they do the 2 for none the hard way. Breaks on either side of the halfway mark.
Corentin Shittikata, one of the more unheralded members of the Mooncatchers roster, but doing his job there, grinding it out in the face of La Fotta pressure. Lovely offhand from Uszynski. And Abeltinch can step into this one down the sideline and curl it beautifully back for Shittikata to make the score. 8-5 now. Mooncatchers lead. When these two sides are so evenly matched, every point matters so much. And I don't know, I'm just thinking back to, do you remember EUCF 2023, Steph? Under
Yes,
the
I
lights
do.
in the Olympic Stadium.
Oh, yes,
Mooncatchers versus La Fotta.
That was
one of the greatest games I've ever seen.
Yeah, that was all time.
Honestly,
They
whenever
were just lights out.
whenever
I mean,
these
lights
two
were on.
whenever these two sides match up, it's always fireworks.
We're getting it here. The Italians have got to find a way to lift. They're down now 3 breaks to 1. And started on defense to boot. Desmarais set to pull. And sends as he joins the defensive unit here. Sadako, and what a pull. The lands in the back of the end zone with a defender in the face as it's caught. It's exactly what you want. Mate. To Kopi and Laffy. Thought for a second about the big. Didn't want to back Sadako too much to get over top of Mueller. Mate. Santucci. And he shoots. That's a great bit of separation. Sadako is there, and La Fotta get their hold. Down by 3. Down by 2 rather now. It's 6-8.
Flexing that O-line a little bit, bringing Sarako over, and it works a treat as he catches that delicious delivery from Santucci for the score. Right, an unfussy point that from La Fotta. After your offense has been a little bit shaky, getting broken on the last 2 points, that's exactly what you want to see, Steph.
Yeah, they get the flex, change it up, not an entire replay for the same line. And the mix line gets it done for La Fotta. And they've also gone and called a late timeout just now. I'm not sure the message has been received by the Mooncatchers. They're still on the line.
There is a Mooncatchers huddle in the centre of the field, but this provides a good opportunity for us to take a little bit of a breather, Steph.
We live in a world where everything can be referenced online. Imagine if the greatest moments in our sport were never filmed. Eurodisc continues to do what it takes to make free-to-watch live streams a reality. Let's leave nothing to the imagination. We'll consume the action live, and we'll support those that help to make it happen. If it wasn't streamed, it didn't happen. Eurodisc.
Oh my God, how they do it! Oh my goodness, that is unbelievable. It's created the that was absolutely incredible.
8-6, the Mooncatchers in front of La Fotta. Tom's Tourney grand final from Bruges as Mr. Luca Tognetti, the man known as Pingu, gets himself warmed up for the pole.
Expecting the spin pull to emulate his master Davide. There you go.
Picked up off the bounce by Enslen to Yonkers. Benji Yonkers to Enslen. And a wide around backhand for Bontemps. Enslen. Wide around again. Ref Yonkers. With his hands out. Doesn't have anything to throw to. Desmarais fights with Tognetti for that space. And Yonkers just has to put it up. He's not happy with his cutters. And that gets knocked away by Laffy.
I see why he's not happy, because he was so isolated, just left on his own little island. Couldn't see anything in the distance. Tried to manufacture it. It did not pay off. But he had to go for something.
Laffy to Venturoli, who just barely gets his hands on that. Then he puts up high. Tognetti and too many help defenders there. Barsazzi and Desmarais on either side. Now the disc is picked up quickly for the Mooncatchers. Enslen back to Desmarais, and the bid came around, but not to be. Mooncatchers retain possession. Delusse to Yonkers. Yonkers to Enslen. And now Don Desmarais. And oh my goodness. I think they had slowed up, but still, what a display of athleticism by Sebanossi for a block that's not going to count.
The crowd enjoy it anyway, as you can hear from the applause. There's Coach Mickael on the sideline.
AKA Mikey Love.
Looking ever so slightly agitated, I think.
Desmarais goes back to Yonkers, and Don gets again. High for Ref Yonkers. And he shovels to Desmarais. A little bit stranded. Desmarais does wait, and Bontemps comes back to the disc. Desmarais leads out front. Bontemps is there. Don, the high throw is taken to perfection. Then he leads for Barsazzi. Oh, and he tried to toe the line and didn't find the disc. The toe drag without the swag.
He had to go for it. There wasn't really an option for him to go for a greatest, so he looks to tap the toes, but the disc is too far. It's the first time all game that a side has turned it over multiple times on the same point.
Comirato will bring the disc into play. Tognetti gets some separation up the line. Now Rossi to Ostri. Tognetti, middle of the field. He goes for the blade. Rossi's under it. And La Fotta get the big break back. That's 3-2 in the break category. One away from leveling, and another if they're going to take the lead.
La Fotta realizing that they cannot afford to hang around. If they want to get those breakbacks, they have to start loading D-lines already. And it works as they get the break. I think the difference so far is that La Fotta's offense generally has actually looked better than Mooncatchers has. We get a timeout taken by Mooncatchers. It's just that Mooncatchers have gone 3 for 3 on their break chances. That's now just 2 for 5 for La Fotta.
Well, we'll take a break here, too. We'll be back with more action. Second half, grand final, Tom's Tourney.
Oh my goodness. That is unbelievable. And bring it to Chen and being first.
That was absolutely incredible.
Love the action? Don't miss the breakdown every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Central European Time. We go deep.
This is Shot for Goal. I'm your host, Stefan Rapazzo. Join me and co-host Noah Brinkworth as we dissect the world of Ultimate.
From tournament recaps and expert analysis to rule debates and global predictions, we feature guests from all corners of the globe to give you the full picture.
It's your weekly fix of everything happening in the world of Ultimate, and just one more reason to stay locked on to Ulti TV.
Well, that sounds like a good reason to stay locked on to Ulti TV, if you ask me. Sebarossi having a game out there. 2 goals, an assist, a block. He's got a pair of turns in this wet weather. He almost had a block there on that point. They did end up getting the break, but not from that D. But that D was something else. He was flying.
Mooncatchers hasn't been at its best in this contest, but they've played really good defense after the turn to be able to get it back. Offside called.
And Arnaud Vanderos this time, the snitch, as far as La Fotta are concerned. And Chopo having a joke around with Coach PA about the offside calling.
There's an easy way to stop being called offsides.
Yeah, don't go offside.
You got it.
Desmarais. Off hands to Yonkers. Benji.
Hello. Oh, Yonkers.
His hard swiping forehand fakes. He continues, and then Desmarais comes back, almost out of sync there, but they do recalibrate. Desmarais leads to the corner. Barzazzi is there, and the Mooncatchers put another on the board to lead 9-7.
Barzazzi putting the big old bucket hands to good use. Sitting it out into space was Desmarais, and Barzazzi brings it down. Those two have excellent chemistry, and it was always interesting last year when Barzazzi came over. How well will he fit? And look, if a player like Barzazzi says he wants to play for you, you'd be mad not to take him. How about Dan Desmarais, the birthday boy, 25 today. Doesn't look a day over 24. And he has been all over the field for Mooncatchers.
Only 5 stats. It's pretty pedestrian for Don, but there's still game to play.
Couple of turnovers, which he would obviously like to iron out, but his peaks, he's done stuff that you feel like no other player can do. That grab where he just seemed to sit endlessly above Cisco Romano.
Yeah,
Who
just
does that?
Levitating.
Dua Lipa, eat your heart out.
Appleton sends the pull. Mancinelli to Poltok. Poltok has Mate wide open. And there was a couple wide opens there, but unable to hit either. He goes back to Laffy. Rosie, far sideline. Giacomo Rosie bombs, looking for Santucci. I think there's too much on it. I could be wrong. I was right. It goes out the back, and that will be given to the Mooncatchers.
Well, he put the jack in Giacomo there, didn't he, Rosie? Giving Chopo something to chase. Yeah, that is out of bounds.
Yeah, not much he could do there. Break chance for the Mooncatchers. Mueller and Appletinch. Orchinski jacks it deep. Vanderos has all sorts of space and keeps it in bounds. And the Mooncatchers make him pay, breaking back very quickly to make it 10-7.
Abotinch is all smiles. Van der Oost is all smiles. Every time it feels like Fotta are finding ways to get on top, Mooncatchers always seem to have an answer. The back chat off in terms of the play just doesn't stop. Hell of a ping this from Victor Ushinski. Halves them up. And Van der Oost scores for another Mooncatchers break. When the Mooncatchers D-line gets the disc, they score 4 for 4. I mean, what can you do against that?
I guess at that stage you're just going to want to be turning it over a whole lot less, because giving those options is clearly going to come back and shoot you in the foot.
Did you see that there was a little bit of Fotta doing some preparation in the big tent over towards our left-hand side? And some of the slides Davide was using may have been
publicized,
leaked.
I did see some of that.
People in our DMs.
Mancinelli. For Venturoli. He winds up. Santucci comes under. And Coppi quickly finds Mancinelli. Mancinelli gives and gets. Coppi for Poltok. Mancinelli in the backfield, and Dmitriy races through and then sends Betrancourt, and he turns to Semanossi with the pistols after that one.
If Dmitriy didn't get there, Betrancourt would have done, and he just keeps on going like he's been shot out of a cannon, and the shots being fired across the bow of the good ship La Fotta at the moment are just too much for them to deal with. Another break, 11-7. I mean, this La Fotta side has been so good this weekend that I'm loath to count them out. Game over?
Here's another look at that. And the Mooncatchers are eyeing down that finish line now. Less than 3 minutes to play before we soft cap.
Yeah, still a very healthy crowd here at the end of the weekend. The fact that the rain has abated certainly helps.
Yeah, everybody came back from whatever cover they were taking. When the skies opened up, Poltok and Laffy and this La Fotta line need a hold. Sadako bounces into Shitakat and still has the disc. Waits till Bakeman's has a slip and then gets to Laffy, and now Santucci sends the hammer to Poltok. Rosie comes charging through the middle. Santucci, far sideline, rises for the disc, and now Laffy centers to Poltok. Poltok upfield, hits Santucci, not in. This will. Venturoli found on the lefty backhand, 8-11. They're still down 3, and there's still a few ticks left before the horn will go.
Laffy on the deck. Didn't matter. Completed the pass anyway. It's just the clock is working against La Fotta. When you're playing against a team like Mooncatchers and you're down this big late on, you cannot afford to put a foot wrong. That nearly was the foot. Oh, the ankle gives way, and you wonder, has he done himself a mischief? Thankfully, he pops back right back up, and La Fotta get the hold.
Venturoli with that goal there. Onto the stat sheet.
Obviously, this is just, while Tom's Tourney is a legendary tournament that you want to etch your name in the history of, both of these sides also looking ahead to the World Ultimate Club Championships in Limerick this summer. Is there a chance that there are 2 teams with a moon-themed livery in the Open final?
With a moon-themed what?
Detailing livery, kind of, in terms of Mooncatchers and Revolver.
I see what you're saying there, Benji, but that shot from Sofiane Bontemps is spot on for the birthday boy. Don Desmarais runs down another 12-8 now, and time has ticked over. We'll check. I imagine it happened still in that point.
Yeah, I think while the disc was in the air, Soft Bontemps on this near sideline turns and fires, gets it out into space, knows that it's good to Desmarais, has the little, you won't see it there, but a little back shuffle as well. Enjoying throwing his weight around, throwing that plastic around. Mooncatchers 1 point away from the win. Abelton's just giving the disc a flip in his hands. Mooncatchers can end it with a break here. The best teams end it on defense, Steph.
That's what they say.
That is what they say. I don't know who they are, but I've heard them say it.
The punters, the pundits.
Isn't that us?
That is us. We say that.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Abelton to pull. Holtalk takes the roll to Laffy. And the Italians can only extend the game. Santucci fires Rossi, the target. He's in for one, and they'll make it to 9 in a game to 13 at least.
You just got to keep plugging away point by point. They've come a cropper on some of those hucks. Last time it was Santucci striding himself towards the back of the end zone. He wasn't able to get there in time. This time, he's throwing it and he measures it to perfection. Rossi, the engine downfield, able to run this one out and just chop his feet a little bit. Accentuate that pickup. Just make sure that he's in bounds. And they've got the hold. Now can they find 4 breaks? They've only got 2 all game so far.
Mooncatchers in the driver's seat and on game point. It's 12-9, game to 13. Tom's Tourney Grand Final live from Bruges. The same place every year. 33rd edition of the festival tournament. Yonkers to Ancelin and now Bontemps. Bontemps to Ancelin, tightly guarded by Cantu. Yonkers comes upfield and bodies out Comirato, who was all over the backside of Yonkers trying to find a way around. Benji Yonkers sighted ref first, then goes to Desmarais. Up the line, he finds Soph, and he bobbles but still catches. Sofiane Bontemps on the doorstep, around. Barsazi leads, and that is the game. Mooncatchers are your champions of Tom's Tourney 2026, taking the victory 13-9 over Bologna's La Fotta.
Proved themselves the class of the field this week. Dan Desmarais getting chucked in the air with the birthday celebrations. For me, this is about the Mooncatchers D-line. 5 break opportunities is solid, not necessarily spectacular. But when you convert all of them, I mean, what more can you ask for?
Yeah, that is exactly what you want. If you can generate the blocks, that's hard enough in itself, putting pressure onto the opposing O-line. But when you can convert with that kind of efficiency, well, you're going to get ahead and win yourself some championships, as the Mooncatchers have just gone and done, Benji. Benj, that's about everything now. We've wrapped up another Tom's Tourney, if you can believe it. It's surreal when you get to the end of such a great weekend of good times and great ultimate. But we've gone and done it again.
Yeah, the outdoor season is well and truly upon us now at this point. But in the women's division and Mooncatchers in the open division, your Tom's Tourney champions for 2026. And they will look to carry that positive momentum forward into the rest of the season. Elite invite coming up in a few weeks' time. And of course, looking further afield, the World Ultimate Club Championships looming large in Limerick later in the year.
Big year of Ultimate ahead. These club teams will be hitting it out and getting ready for the big World's Dance. Benji, we'd be remiss not to thank some of the people that are behind this great tournament, that have supported our work here. You start with the tournament directors, the two primaries, Boris Vanderlook and Glenn Nolf. They run the team of hundreds, if you include the volunteers, but dozens of other staff members that keep this thing glued together. The food, so good. The venue, on point. The format and every part of Tom's Tourney runs seamlessly and smooth. It starts with Boris and Glenn, and there's a great trickle-down effect. And I know we're very grateful to be here every year. We're going to thank our crew bench back home, Mikey Palmer and Milan van den Bovenkamp, getting her done. So we get the camera on us now. I got to sit back up. But we've got the digital support. And then here on the ground, a great crew, a lot of people taking on new jobs and bigger challenges and did a heck of a job. But Emma Whitaker, Luna Andrade, Chris Rude, Noah Brinkworth, and Rob Grabko. That was our tech crew for the weekend. They've all done a stellar job. I'm sure you all agree back home. And, of course, my wonderful commentary crew, Isa Moncau, who stepped in and got some great reps doing more and more. We're happy to have her on board. Hannah Pendlebury running the team for us this weekend. Benji Reese alongside. It's been an absolute pleasure, pal. It's been a great weekend, and we can't do it without this wonderful team.
No, of course, yourself as well, Steph. It's been bearable working with you this weekend.
You're so kind.
I jest. We have a great time. We're fortunate to work with such a wonderful crew, both internally at Ulti TV, with, as you mentioned, the wonderful work of the Tom's Tourney support staff. What you didn't mention is that as well as all the care they give us, Boris even has to put us up, which it was so greatly appreciated, the most wonderful host. And one of the best parts is when everything's wrapped up in the evening, you just get to hang out in beautiful Bruges with some of the best people, and everyone who came and said hello to us, had a little dance at the party, flicked us some beer tokens. It's so appreciated, and there's such hard work and love and craft that goes into it. And that goes to you at home as well. Even if you're just chirping us in the chat, we really do appreciate it. It all helps. So a little like, subscribe, notification, all goes a long way. You can become a YouTube channel member. You can support us on Patreon. And if you get notified, then you'll get a little ping at about 6 o'clock Central European summertime on Wednesday, when yourself and Noah will be breaking down the weekend on Shot for Goal.
All that stuff and so much more, Benji. But with that, we've got some moule frites to look forward to tonight. All this, and we're still getting a moule frite before we leave. So for all those wonderful people we've mentioned, for Benji Reese alongside, I've been Stefan Rapazzo. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll catch you all next time.
BFD.TV.